to Learning the Ropes. My name's Matt. With me, as always, we got Andrew.
Sup?
And we got our young lion.
War! Tyler.
War!
Tyler is now Wardlow.
Yeah.
Hello.
Or Namor the Submariner.
Coming in hot.
That's a probably more like niche, since it's referencing one specific comic book panel that my friend and I meme about. It's
or the Elden Ring.
Joke. Oh yeah, or the
Elden Ring enemies who were kind of
Elden Ring enemies. War!
Or that Avenged Sevenfold song, This Means War.
Don't bring them up here. If you like Avenged Sevenfold, seek help. They have two good songs.
Rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. Matt and Tyler and the loathsome dung eater.
Anyway, this is a wrestling podcast.
This is whatever I want it to be podcast.
But if you've listened this far, I imagine you're as much here for this as you are for the wrestling.
Yeah, welcome to Learning the Ropes.
Oh, we're just doing a second intro? We're just redoing it? I thought that was gold.
I guess I'm not redoing it. Fuck.
I love relishing in the power that we have, Tyler, to like...
Yes.
We ruin the first intro, and then
Matt tries to fix it,
to do a second one.
Nah, you're not doing that. You're not fixing it.
Just ruin intro number 2 on purpose.
Wrestling! What are we talking? What are we watching this week?
Yo, Tyler, what do you know about Yokozuna?
I've heard of this person.
Yeah, so Yokozuna is definitely for real a Japanese sumo wrestler.
It's also
Is
it a character from the hit anime series Gurren Lagann?
Maybe.
No, that's Yoko Lidner.
Oh fuck! See, I'm dyslexic, but for sound.
Well, yeah, so Yokozuna, definitely for real, a Japanese sumo wrestler, monster heel who debuts for WWF in 1992. Totally not a Samoan dude named Rodney Anoa'i.
Yo, it's a badass name.
Totally not a Samoan dude that is playing a Japanese character. He is Japanese.
Not even close.
He is totally not a member of the Anoa'i family. The family of Samoan wrestlers that includes dudes like The Rock, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Rikishi, the Wild Samoans. Totally not a part of that family. He is
not okay. It's good.
He is 100% a Japanese sumo wrestler.
It'd be problematic if he was. Actually, maybe it wouldn't. I don't fucking know.
I think it would be actually.
I think
we don't have any. We don't have.
See.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. We don't have any Asian people on this podcast, so we can't say for sure.
And you see,
you could ask your Asian girlfriend.
Yeah,
hey, we gotta stop bringing up the Asian girlfriend.
See, here's the thing. I think that I would say that I think if that were the case, if Yokozuna was actually a Samoan man named Rodney Anoa'i, and he was playing a Japanese man fictionally in kayfabe in wrestling, like that would be problematic. But the problem is we don't know what like the world's take on that scenario would be because it wasn't true. He was Japanese. Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah, and he does. He becomes a fixture of the WWF through all of like 1992 and 1993. He's booked as just like this unstoppable monster that no one can beat. He's just this big guy that like you can't
He's a big guy. He's a big fun guy.
You can't even like take him down.
Yeah, because it was all hinged on the fact that like he's a big old guy. He weighs in. He's billed at 505 pounds.
Oh.
And his finishing move was called the Bonsai Drop. Which was a move that saw him. He would get up on the second rope in the corner, and he would just jump off the second rope and land in like a seated position on his opponent's chest. crushing them so that they can't like kick out of it as like it becomes a pin.
Crushing them and breaking their rib cage in the process.
Notably, this move took out Hacksaw Jim Duggan, American hero, and
took him
2x4 enthusiast.
Took him out for 2 goddamn months.
Yeah, he didn't wrestle for 2 months after getting hit with the Banzai drop.
But now, Yokozuna would enter the Royal Rumble in 1993, and now Tyler, you are familiar with the rules of the Royal Rumble, correct?
Yeah, it's a fucking clusterfuck.
Right, but you know whenever you have a really big guy, you gotta ask yourself, how are they gonna get him out of there?
Yeah. How are they gonna do it? It's impossible. Can't be done.
And so because of that, Yokozuna would go on to win the Royal Rumble in 1993, last eliminating Randy Macho Man Savage in order to win a title match against the then WWF champion Bret Hitman Hart. Now, a little quick note, based on some research that we were doing, it seems like the original plan was for Savage to win the Royal Rumble, and then we would actually be getting Bret Hart versus Randy Savage at WrestleMania for the WWF Championship, which would have been an amazing match. But because Vince, we're getting this match instead.
Yeah, I guess because Vince is like Vince, you know, they spent all of like 1992 like building Yokozuna as like a monster heel. So I guess I get why Vince McMahon decided to go with that. That said, I deeply wish we could get to watch Macho Man wrestle Bret Hart. It's like one of the greatest wrestlers ever in Macho Man going up against the actual GOAT Bret Hitman Hart.
What extra sucks is that like Savage, they didn't give him a different match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they moved him into I forget. There's like some like slight like backstage shuffling because I think it at this time Macho Man was like sort of half in half out of the company at that time. Or like half in, half out of wrestling, and I think he'd been like injured or something. I don't know. A lot of like weird nebulousness around this WrestleMania main event, so without having anything to do, Macho Man just ends up as a gift to the world on commentary. We get to hear Macho Man Randy Savage talk through the whole match.
It's fascinating. I don't know how this is gonna be now. I'm somewhat concerned.
And it's a quick kind of setup this time. The stage is set. The WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas.
Yep. And they lean. You'll see. You'll see.
They lean into Caesar's Palace.
Yeah, you'll see when you watch the match with us, Tyler, and those of you at home. You'll see they lean into the Caesar's Palace gimmick like super hard, and it's I kind of love it. I know a lot of people don't.
And yeah, so WrestleMania 9, Bret Hitman Hart versus Yokozuna. Let's go watch the match. And we're back. Tyler, what did you think about that match?
Man. Whew, okay. So there's a big ask here. Putting aside the multiple layers of racism going on, climaxing with Hulk Hogan winning, up until he showed up, it was a fun match. It was a spectacle. Up until Hogan showed up. Hogan showed up, and I'm like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, huh? And then it happened.
A wild Hogan appeared.
Oh man. All right. So Bret Hart, great as always, best wrestler of all time. That was fun. It felt like a spectacle. It felt cool. It felt like a whole event. There was some good action, some good storytelling. I like that Bret Hart lost. And then what do they fucking do? They ruin it. They ruin it by bringing out Hogan. They fucking burn it. They burn it all. Like, oh, that was cool. Like a new enemy. Nope, Hogan comes in, ends it in like, what, 10 seconds? Oh, bullshit. Bullshit.
Now, to give a little bit of context, backstage context, if I can do that at the moment. It's cool? Everyone cool with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, leading into this match, Bret was originally going to retain. Then...
That would have been fine. I'd be fine with that, too, to be honest.
Then... Vince approaches him at some point. I forget if it's how close to the show it is, but
according to Bret's book, it was the day before.
Day before the show. Vince
was like, "Hey Hulk, do you want to beat up an ethnic? Just do you want to?"
Vince approaches Bret Hart and says, "Look, this is the new plan. You're gonna lose. Hogan's gonna come out and beat Yoko for it." Bret was pissed. But then Vince and Hogan sit down with him and say, "Look, it'll be okay. SummerSlam, we're gonna have you beat Hogan for the belt." That doesn't happen.
Okay, yeah,
Basically, Hogan wins the belt and is instantly like, "I am not dropping the belt to that small person, Bret Hart."
Yep.
It's incredible that wrestling got as far as it did. With Hulk Hogan
right?
just slowing it down at every step of the way. Dear God.
Dear fucking God.
Dear fucking God. Oh.
So yeah.
I mean, literally up until Hogan came in, I was like, this is like a 4 out of 5 for me. This is fucking great. This is fun to watch. Entertaining, good story. Bret Hart kind of getting beat down a bunch. That's cool. You don't see that too. I mean, we haven't seen that too often yet. Him just getting like dominated, It was cool. And then they fucking have Hogan come out. Being the hero again.
Here's the
not a hero.
Here's what I think is like the kind of best thing. So Hogan has been gone from the WWE for a year.
Oh.
Because of
You're
the
telling me
steroid scandal.
First thing he does is come in and beat a minority? That's literally the first thing that happens?
Not literally. Oh,
okay.
So what happens is, following WrestleMania 8, Hogan is written off the show because of the steroid scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, we're gonna get Hogan off of TV and just start pushing guys who are leaner, more that don't look like they're juiced.
Literally, like, we're getting Hogan and the Warrior off TV, and we are pushing Bret Hart.
But Bret Hart's juiced.
I don't know that he is.
If Bret is juiced.
I think he's probably juicing like off season. My man's got some spicy biceps.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
okay, that's hard. He does have luxurious hair, so maybe he's like microdosing. I don't know.
Because that's what I was gonna say. Like, if Bret Hart is on juice at all, he's like, at the very least, it still fits. Like, we want to push guys who don't really look like they're definitely on juice.
Like, you can tell Hogan's on like full-time juice because he's dying all the time. Bret looks like maybe he's just doing a cycle here and there.
But yeah, so Hogan he returns in February of 1993. For context, WrestleMania is in April.
Mm-hmm.
He did like 2 matches with teaming with Brutus Beefcake, going like before WrestleMania, and then
it's gonna get more racist, isn't it?
Literally, he came at this WrestleMania. Not only did Hogan show up like that to win the WWF title, technically Hogan pulled double duty because he was in a match earlier on the card for the tag team championships. with Brutus
Oh.
Beefcake. And instead he wins his 5th WWF Championship, pinning Yokozuna only sheer goddamn moments after Yokozuna beat Bret Hart.
Really doing him dirty.
Yeah.
Like, really just the amount of disrespect.
And literally, Hogan goes on to drop the title back to Yokozuna, and then he leaves.
Yep.
Hogan exits the company for good.
Yeah, he goes to star in some movies.
Huh. And my heart hurts watching this one a little bit, not gonna lie. A little bit. This is a little bit flustering, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit of a punch in the dick, which is just like kind of Hulk Hogan in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's literally the worst part about wrestling.
What I love about this is that, like, just because of the structure of the show, we haven't talked about Hulk Hogan in a while.
Yeah, in like a few episodes.
And to be honest,
just appears.
I've been having more fun because of Also, I need to go back to the match. Fun match, but man, the just like overwhelming amount of racism from the commentators is very distracting watching this in the year of our Lord 2022. Oh my god. It's very they got some things in there that have not been spoken, and I feel like for time they're dated. Like even when they're saying them, they're dated. And now I'm like,
definitely not sure.
Huh?
I mean, it's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was happening? Oh my god. But also moving on from that, fucking Macho Man, great commentator, very fun, very earnest.
Oh, we
sincere.
also got our. So speaking of commentary, you got to hear a voice for the first time.
Well, who was it?
You got to hear the voice of Jim Ross,
The
good old
voice of
JR,
wrestling.
Nice.
the voice of wrestling. Who?
So it's not actually the first time you're hearing his voice,
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've heard him on Dynamite when we watched Dynamite.
Yeah.
But this is the first time he shows up in WWE. What did you think of his commentary?
I mean, you know, it's good.
Martial arts.
Martial arts. Martial arts thrust. Martial arts punch.
All the things that Yokozuna does.
I do actually. That is kind of funny. That is kind of funny.
That everything he did was called a martial arts move?
Everything except for the nerve holds, man. Oh god. That what did JR call it? I can't say it.
Yeah, we can't say it on this show.
We can't say it on this show.
They say Orient and not in the way you would use a map.
Yeah, it's they use some dated terminology to fill out what is like a, by all accounts, Yokozuna, a legend of wrestling, but like that whole presentation is just an uncomfortable thing to look at now.
Yeah. And they do him dirty too on top of it. It's just...
Yeah.
Also, we haven't even talked about Mr. Fuji, his manager.
Oh yeah, he got rocked.
Mr. Fuji is at least of Japanese descent.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's the only person involved in the gimmick that actually has Japanese ties. Mr. Fuji is half Japanese, half native Hawaiian. And yeah, so at least like calling him. Also, by the way, because I was doing research because I was curious. They call him Mr. Fuji. His name is R.I.P. in peace, Mr. Fuji. His name was Harry Masayoshi Fujiwara. So they call him Mr. Fuji, and I'm like, okay,
you know what? That's kind of
surprising.
okay.
That's what my thought when I decided to look it up is surprisingly the most like kind of on point bit of the gimmick is Mr. Fuji.
That's kind of endearing.
And yeah, like Yokozuna didn't really get to pick what his gimmick was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's bad. And they hit Bret Hart with pocket sand, and then while he was blind, Hulk Hogan just came in, and dude, the most heartbreaking part of it to me is that they made Bret Hart like they had to do a spot where he gives Hulk Hogan the go ahead. It's not even like he gets kind of like checked on by like a doctor and walked backstage before Hulk Hogan accepts the challenge. They made Bret the Hitman Hart, the greatest wrestler of all time, stand there selling pocket sand and go, yeah, go win the WWF Championship on my behalf. You have my blessing to avenge the loss I just suffered.
Hart and Hogan not like each other behind the scenes?
They never really interacted that much. It was the kind of thing where, apparently, you know, when Hogan came back, or when Hogan showed up for this show, he was all like buddy with Bret.
You know, the Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah, gimmick.
And then immediately wins the belt. It's like, it's not, losing to him isn't gonna work for me, brother.
Yeah. He was he was it's the same shtick that he pulled on the Undertaker when he decided to pretend the Undertaker almost killed him. Was the like he starts off like real buddy about it, and then it's just like, cuz and this is, you know what, I'm gonna throw in allegedly for just like, you know, safety purposes over everything we're talking about, but it's kind of like the Hulkster's MO is that like
he's catty
this
bitch.
kind of like catty, two-faced, like he's only ever like, I don't know if he didn't like Bret. I know that he only ever wanted to look out for himself in his spot. It like putting anybody else over for him meant that he had to lay down, and that's not a thing he was comfortable with in any way, because he thought it would hurt his ability to draw money. And so he was like, oh, I can't, like, he's like, I'll definitely promise Bret that I'm going to like take this belt. We're gonna do this bit so that like Yokozuna wins because we built him as a monster, and then I come out and win the belt to send the fans home happy. And he's like, I'll definitely promise Bret that I'll drop the belt back to him so that Bret will play ball. And then the second the belt's around his waist, he's like, fucking no way. Bret Hart's too small. I won't do it.
Yeah.
Because he's a dick. And I'm more than comfortable saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, worst part of wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm confident in saying that, even if it's a hot take. Fuck you.
I don't think it's that hot a take at this point. Yeah. There's still like respect for Hulk Hogan as like a draw. But I know now that a lot more people are a lot more aware of the fact that it's like, oh, he was just being a dick backstage, which is why he always got to be this larger than life character that always gets to win. Because he was doing what people call backstage politicking.
He just held things hostage.
Yep. Anyway, should we talk about rating the match?
I actually have one more thing I wanted to bring up from Bret Hart's book. That kind of was just like heartbreaking to read.
Oh no.
Poor Bret, dude.
So I'm gonna quote Bret Hart's book, which I totally know the name of. It's just called Hitman. Cool. Yep. That makes it easy. Hitman. So this is for context. This is while talking to Vince McMahon about after Vince tells him that he's gonna drop the belt to Yoko and Hogan's gonna pick it up. As I stood up to leave, I asked, "Did you take the belt from me because I didn't do a good enough job?"
I knew you were gonna read this.
No, really?
Yeah.
Poor Bret.
God damn, he's literally like the most fun to like even when he doesn't win, he's the most fun to watch because he sells so fucking good.
Andrew said this when we were doing notes. Like Bret, the way he wrestles is like it's like if Bret, wrestling was 100% real to Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wrestling
like,
was real for Bret, and it never stopped being real for Bret.
like something I'll say too is that like he makes everybody that he like that like he fights look way. I mean, like I'm sure that like he does fight like opponents that are great, but he makes them look way better when it's him fighting them. Like he sells and makes everything look incredible.
And something that, like, in this match and other matches that he's done that I really like is that he puts in this like, he struggles to do moves, if that makes sense. Like, he makes it look like when he's putting on the sharpshooter or like hitting a bulldog or something, he's like, I have to put everything in this. I have to like force this in. I can't just like compared to like
pop into it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just does so much to legitimize it and to just better tell stories.
Bret's so good about detail, which is illustrated in literally my favorite spot in the whole match is after like Yokozuna like runs and like crushes Bret Hart, and Bret goes like tumbling out of the ring.
Yeah.
And then when he's trying to get back in, Yoko keeps coming to the ropes and like kicking him in the head to keep him out. And so Bret like catches his foot, ties it up in the bottom two ropes, and then like trips him. And it's just it's the kind of attention to detail and like logical progression from like spot to spot in a wrestling match that, to put my Jim Cornette hat on, you don't see as much anymore. Or you see it in like certain spots and like the ways that certain people wrestle. Guys like FTR, Punk, obviously, because the internet knows how much Punk is just doing a whole bunch of Bret Hart stuff. Like Bryan Danielson, all of the best wrestlers of modern times, you can watch them find details that make you think of Bret. Also, a good Bret story, because I don't think we're gonna. I know we're not gonna watch this match because it's fucking hidden. And I'm not gonna name the wrestler's name, partially because I don't remember it, and also partially because I don't want to disparage anybody. But Tyler, you said that Bret's good about making his opponents look good. There's a famous story of a match that Vince McMahon wanted all of the copies of it destroyed.
Oh, no.
Because Bret Hart wrestled this rookie guy in a match on Monday Night Raw. What'd you say?
I have more context.
Oh, was it not Raw, or where was it? I don't remember.
It was a house show.
Okay. Either way, Bret made him look so good that Vince McMahon was like, this guy's the next big thing, started to try pushing him, and it was like, oh no, that was all Bret? Oh. And he was like, I've made a mistake. Like, Bret could make anybody look that good. Which makes it like even more standout when he actually wrestles guys like fucking Shawn. And like they make like magic in the ring together because they're both so good that like everything is elevated by Bret Hart's presence.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the one match that we watched that like I think like that I've seen that like kind of like also like showed that was when he fought Bulldog. Like that like you can tell that like he carried that match the entire time. Yeah, this makes me hate Hogan and Vince more than I already do.
Now, let's do ratings.
Oh, okay.
Andrew, why don't you start us off? I guess these are technically two different matches, so we'll rate both.
Yeah. I'm glad we're gonna get to rate both.
Yeah, same.
Because I will give Yokozuna versus Bret Hart 3 stars. It was surprisingly fun as far as I'm concerned. Do we want me to also drop my Hogan rating, or are we gonna circle back?
No, drop it now.
Okay. What is like the worst, Meltzer? It's negative something? Like
So if you go into negatives, it's so bad.
Oh, it's so bad it's good. Okay, then Hogan Yokozuna gets a 0. I'll give it a 0 because my feelings are hurt. Like, but yeah, I'll give Bret and Yoko. I'll give Bret and Yoko a 3 stars because it was fun. Like the Bret worked actually really well around Yokozuna's size. Yokozuna is like more mobile than I feel like I remember him being from any of the last times I watched him. It's like I said, that the Bret's attention to detail still stands out. I think the finish is fun. Like I legitimately kind of pop for when like Bret is putting the sharpshooter on Yokozuna because you don't really think it's like a thing he's gonna be able to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely a good time. And then Hogan comes out afterwards and it's like, what if I ruined this?
Yeah, the only thing in my opinion that would have made Bret Yoko better is if it was just like a tiny bit longer. From Hitman, Bret Hart's book, another thing that's interesting is that like apparently Yoko in this match just like started skipping parts. Like they had planned a lot of spots that just didn't happen. Because Yoko was getting gassed.
What do you mean? He wasn't even breathing heavy.
Wasn't even breathing heavy. Yeah, wasn't even breathing heavy.
So like Yokozuna just like fast forwarded the match a couple of times apparently. So I'm really I wish we could watch the match as Bret intended.
Yeah.
But even with that said, to me this is 3.25 stars. It's a solidly good match. Just wish it was a little bit longer. As for Hogan Yoko, God, it's a 0. It's a 0. Yeah, it's a 0. It's almost not even a match. It's literally just leg drop, or it's literally big boot leg drop.
Yeah, it's pocket sand clothesline leg drop.
It's a joke is what it is, and it's not even a good one.
God, Tyler, what do you think?
For Bret and Yokozuna, 3.5. I had a lot of fun with it. I didn't expect to have as much fun as I did, but like I got into it. Like I don't know if I was ever bored during it, which is a thing for me that always brings up the score. As for Hogan, yeah, the worst score is 0 and maybe a firing squad.
Dude, face the wall, Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm. Face the wall.
Now, Big Dave, friend of the show, rates Yokozuna versus Bret Hart at 3 stars.
Woo!
Yeah,
calls Yoko Hogan a dud, which is what he just calls his 0-star matches duds because he doesn't want to even like put an official rating to it.
Cool. We're right.
Yo, I actually dead on matched our friend of the show, Big Dave.
Yeah, so with the correct answer this week, we got Andrew.
Woo! I think is this the first time anyone's been just flat on correct? Like,
no, we've had correct
yeah,
answers.
there might have been. I think Tyler might have matched him.
I like how we're saying correct. We're like, yeah, we have the same opinion. It's right. It's the right opinion. It's the correct opinion.
We're gonna shift the podcast to like we're no longer like giving our star ratings. We're all trying to guess Dave's star rating. Like,
man, that's so funny that you like apples. That's actually wrong. Crazy, man.
Yeah.
With
Man.
that, anyone got any last words for us?
Fuck the anxiety.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk. That would have been better. You're right. Fuck.
As always, fuck the Hulk Hogan, Bubba.
And with that, remember to like, comment, subscribe. You can find us over on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch at
On MySpace.
Learning the Ropes. You can find us on Instagram, Learning the Ropes Pod. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. We should make a Twitter. Tyler, you're in charge of the Twitter.
Fuck, alright, I'm on it right now.
Tyler's in charge of the Twitter. This will be interesting. So follow us at Twitter. We'll put the handle.
Episode.
Well, yeah, we'll put the handle in the next episode and on the Instagram. Goodbye.
Peace out. Have fun. Enjoy life.
Yo, before we're fully off the air, should we talk about what the next episode is, Matt?
Oh, yes.
Oh wait, is this the modern one?
This is
So this is going to be the last episode in kind of season 1 of Learning the Ropes. Or next episode is going to be the last episode in season 1 of Learning the Ropes. We're going to be doing a retrospective episode on kind of the golden age of wrestling as we kind of push forward with season 2 into the new generation.
Yeah, so look out for the next episode, our Rock and Wrestling Roundup. We'll see you there. It'll be rad.